Let's talk for a minute about comparing decimals. One of the most important things that you learned, or the most important thing that we had talked about earlier, was comparing the same place value. So, if I want to compare the numbers 32 and 46 hundredths, 32 and 46 hundredths to 32 and 56 hundredths, I would need to compare the same place value. So start in the biggest place. I have a 3 in the tens place and a 3 in the tens place. So the value of both of these 3's is 30. They are the same. So I mark it out and move it over. Hopefully you saw that video earlier in the year. So now I'm at the ones place. I have a 2 in the ones place and a 2 in the ones place. Same value. I'm going to mark them out and move over to the next place. I'm going to move to the tenths place. So in the first number, I have 4 tenths, and in the second number, I have 5 tenths. Well, I know that 4 tenths is less than 5 tenths, so that means that 32 and 46 hundredths is less than 32 and 56 hundredths. Let's try another one. 57 and 6 tenths is what? Then 57 and 60 hundredths. This ought to be interesting. Start in the biggest place value. We have to compare the same places, so we're going to start in the tens place. The tens and the tens. I have 50 and 50. Mark it out and move it over. I have 7 and 7. They're the same. Mark it out and move it over. Now I have 6 tenths in my first number and 6 tenths in my second number. They're the same. Mark it out and move it over. Uh-oh. Wait a minute. I have nothing in the hundredths place in the first number, and I have 0 in the hundredths place in the second number. I know. Guys, nothing is the same thing as 0. If I'm holding nothing in this hand, no donuts in this hand, and 0 donuts in this hand, I'm holding nothing in both hands. They're the same. Guys, remember when we were extending the dividend, when we were dividing? 6 tenths is equivalent to 60 hundredths. It's the same amount. Yay! You guessed it. Those two numbers are equal. Now, I am going to give you a little bit of a hint here. Look at these two numbers. I want to compare these two numbers. I wonder if you can compare these two looking at them in word form. This one says 16 tenths, and this one says 111 thousandths. I'm going to put that THS on the end. Thousandths. Well, gosh, 16, 111. 16 is less than 111. But wait a minute. We're forgetting about the units. We are forgetting about the units. Let's write these in standard form so that we can compare them. 16 tenths looks like this. 16 tenths. 111 thousandths. Now let's compare them. Start in the biggest place value. I have a 1 in the ones place and a 0 in the ones place. 16 tenths is greater than 111 thousandths. Guys, that's a great big hint. When you are comparing numbers, always write them in standard form.